Hello, footies, and welcome back to another episode of FUT in Review Shorts. Today is Monday, October 28th. My name is John, and I'm recording this very, very late because the man, the legend I'm hosting with, just did a 16 or 17 hours day straight up, and he wanted to do a FUT in Review Shorts with me. It's my pleasure to say hi to my dear friend, podcasting legend, the man with the best voice in the business. It's none other than Danny Wimbush. Dan, hello.
John, one introduction. Thank you. Very kind words from you, could say. It's really nice to be back on with you. It's so rare that we get to do a show together. So it's always nice when our schedules finally overlap and we get to talk a bit of foot together.
Yeah, twice in a year, though.
Well, it's like the eclipse.
Exactly. When it hits, it's beautiful to watch. Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, you've already mentioned I'm very tired. So for those of you watching the video version of this show, I apologise for my dishevelled face. This is a man who has already done a shift at work, loads of parenting, and was up at 2:30 this morning. But never mind. I thought I'd pop on to give a spoiler away. I will not be doing the Tuesday Club as usual this week because it is half term here in the UK, so my kids are off, so I will be looking after them. But I will be leaving the podcast in very good hands because Shaq and Nath will be recording.
Definitely. Well, it's half term here as well, though. We call it, I don't even know how we call it. Doesn't even matter. Fall break or something, I think we call it. But anyways, I've got the same, so that's why we're recording this on an ungodly hour. But hey, we still are here. We're still doing it. And it's good to have you on. It's weird you not hosting or semi-hosting or I'm not hosting, so we'll just figure out how this goes in the next 15 minutes or so. We'll talk evolutions. We'll talk an SBC, Hero SBC, and an Icon SBC came out. Who said we didn't get anything to do? Your experiences so far. I have done something in this game I have not done ever before, which I want to talk about for a minute or so. And EA is striking the ban hammer. And hold on, they are asking for feedback, Daniel.
Whoa.
Where do you want to start? It's so much, though.
Oh, well, we got lots to go through since the weekend. I'll tell you what, we'll start with some of the SBC content, because that is probably the thing that brings us right up to date into Monday. We'll start with stuff that came out over the weekend. One of the big talking points player-wise, a card that lots of people are rushing out to do, is a former FUT favourite, Musa Sissoko, now plays his trade in the Championship, which used to be the best league in the world until about 2 seasons ago when a certain team got relegated from it. He's now plays for Watford, but being French, he is very linkable. He came out as part of the Championship Foundations. There's a couple of other players you can go and unlock for this. But the big thing with this Musa Sissoko card is we got those 2 Foundation evolutions. And if you put this card and you can put it into both, he becomes an absolute monster of a card. So it is very worth you going out and doing that. As you can see, for those of you watching the video show, 87 pace, 85 passing, 86 dribbling, 85 defending, and 85 physicals. The guy is a monster with all of the play styles you would want. 4-star, 4-star as well. The closest thing that most of us are going to get to a Vieira in this game cycle until at least footies. Definitely, if you've still got those Foundations Evos available, I would highly recommend doing this. Even if you can only get him in on 1 or 2 chem, I think this card will be very much worth it. And the best thing is, John, he's only going to cost you 25,000 coins.
Now, there's even one thing that's better. I currently run this formation with 2 CDMs. One of them is Petit, of course, French icon. And one of them is Thuram, of course, another French non-icon, but still very good CDM. The rest of my team pretty much is Premier League. Well, that doesn't really matter with this card, but I think another French CDM, maybe. I'm running a French team at the end of the week, probably.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you, running that 4-2-3-1. So I've got 2 defensive CDMs at the moment. I was running Gold Schumanni in there, and this card is going to slot very nicely into that position. So recommend getting him done. Look, even if you haven't got the evolutions left, I think this would be a really nice card just on its base form to bring on, maybe if you're looking to see out a game. And again, lots of us have got those 81s, 82, 83 sat in that SBC storage. And that's very worth doing because I said the highest rated squad here is an 83 to get done. So chances are you can do this without breaking a sweat. And, we're talking about CDMs, John, jumping ahead.
I thought you were going to talk about sweat.
Oh, well, I mean, we can talk about that later on. Talking of CDMs, 2 have been released just tonight. We've had I think this is our first showdown of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And it's actually quite topical on the day that Erik ten Hag got the boot from Manchester United, one of his final, if not his final signing at the club, is part of this showdown. Manuel Ugarte goes head to head with Chelsea's Moises Caicedo. Both of them 84 rated cards. Both of them reasonably cheap. Caicedo slightly more expensive at 76,000 compared to 45,000 for Ugarte. John, both these cards very, very similar in terms of their stats, their roles, their play styles. This very much just feels like a coin flip. Or actually, I think in my case, I think I might just do a future-proof myself and just do both.
Yeah. Again, if you have a showdown, what happens if one wins? Or what happens when you draw?
Well, you get a +2 if they win, and you get a +1 if the game ends in a draw. Now, this is at Old Trafford. Of course, United in pretty horrible form at the moment. Chelsea on the opposite side really starting to click under Maresca. But are United going to get that Ruud van Nistelrooy new manager bounce? That's my pause for thought here. So, and from a person that's got Ronaldo Araujo, a Uruguayan centre-back in my team, if Ugarte were to get that upgrade, it would actually be quite handy for my team building.
Yeah, generally speaking, both of these cards are pretty doable linkable-wise, right? Anyways, without the nationalities, so that's cool. I do think, especially if you still play Rush, and I say if you still are playing Rush, those nationalities can actually be really helpful to have in your team anyways.
Absolutely. The only real difference between the two cards is that Ugarte's got a little bit of a bump physicality wise, and he's 3-star weak foot, 4-star skills, whereas Caicedo has the 4-star weak foot and the 3-star skills. So just depends on what you like. I mean, John, what do you prefer in your CDM, a stronger weak foot or that extra skill move?
Probably weak foot on the CDM, I suppose. It's not really the role I use to skill a lot. A ball roll is probably the best I do with a CDM.
Yeah.
So
I'm absolutely with you there. And as I said, role-wise, they're both very similar. Both have got deep line playmaker plus and holding plus for CDMs. And CM, they've got deep lying playmaker roles. So again, nice roles.
CDM center half plus even.
Oh yes, you're all right. Sorry, Gata. Yeah, he's got the center half plus rather than the deep line playmaker. And the CM, he's a box to box plus as well.
Yes. Honestly, pretty flexible cards. If I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna do either of them. But that's basically because my CDMs are already, even if these gets upgraded, better than these cards. And untradeable. So don't see me changing around. But it is cool. It's good to have showdowns back then. On the card this side, I'm just saying again, 10 out of 10. They just keep hitting him.
Absolutely. And look, even if for now, again, and it sounds like we say this for every card now, think about evolutions down the line, but you remember how EA, towards the end of last year, was releasing showdown-specific evolutions as well. So this might be a case of one of these cards later on being eligible for they had the Showdown Winners SBC, evolution last year. So might be worth doing one of those. But again, we just talked about it. If you compare the stats of Sissoko compared to either of these two cards, even with +2,
exactly,
Sissoko blows them out of the water. So, but again, for the cost that you're doing either of these cards, again, I don't think you go wrong. You're not committing very much. I mean, the top rated squad for Ugarte is an 83 rated squad. So at least EA, I think, are being slightly more self-aware of what's going on with players' clubs right now, because I don't know about you, John, but I am finding that duplicate storage just reaching the top, and it's all with kind of under 84 rated cards.
Yeah, and the annoying part for me is I don't spend much time behind. Like if I'm at console, I'll play the game, right? So when you do those, you have like now the 78 plus double upgrades, for example. If I could just say, okay, select 11 players from my SBC storage, I would get rid of my storage easily enough. But when I have to enter them one by one, I'm just also not touching my SBC storage because of it. Could be me, but I'm lazy in the menus. So
Yeah, and look, the 78 plus double came back tonight, as you mentioned. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest of SBCs at this stage. I'm slightly disappointed that we've not seen a player pick. I would have thought by this stage we would have had a one of two or a one of three 75 plus, but alas, not. And again, 6 rares, 5 commons. There's still not a great way to farm cards in this game. Yes, we've had the League SBCs out, which is great for me as someone that will every year go back to being a bronze pack method player, as you kind of talked about in the last short show. But doing the premium upgrade is very difficult at the moment because of the Libertadores Sudamericana section of that. So you kind of have to go, unless you want to spend kind of 25k plus every time just on that SBC, you kind of have to go through the normal one. So there's still not that way to generate loads and loads of fodder to keep going through this. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with the upgrade.
how are you going to do those hero and icon SPCs then, Daniel?
Well,
Or should
again,
you even?
well, look, I did the 88 plus last week for the hero upgrade and ended up with Ludwig Julie, who's okay, fine, does a decent job, but again, he's not very long for this game. You know, in another 3 or 4 weeks, he's definitely going to be left behind. I already just prefer Chloe Kelly to him, to be honest. And I've seen lots of bad pulls from both of these SBCs, both the hero and the icon SBC. Look, at the end of the day, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. If your team is in a good position and you are really at that point where, you know, only a top player is going to boost it, you could make the argument to go for it. But if you're somebody that's got quite a lot of holes in there, do you really want to waste, you know, in the case of the icon SBC, nearly 400k's worth of fodder to potentially end up with a Laudrup or a Crespo?
Wasn't it way cheaper the last time this SBC hit?
It
Or was it
was,
87?
yeah, it was. But this does bring into a lot of better icons. You know, you can get the likes of Gareth Bale in this one, so I can kind of see why it's gone up.
Yeah, fair enough. The last time distinctly remember we had 24 players, and I think only 7 were worth less than the SBC costed. I didn't do the maths on this one, if I'm quite honest. But by the looks of it, it's 40% that's less. But just quick estimate, just right now.
Yeah, look, it's 75% downvoted on FUTBIN as well, which kind of shows you the community. And I watched a couple of pack opening videos, and they said the pack weight that I saw was not very good. Again, look, if you have been saving up loads of fodder and you really are just hunting for those very, very top tier icons, just, you know, why not go for it? But be prepared to be disappointed as well. I think the hero is slightly better value. This is just actually, it's just a refresh of the one we had the other day, and that's half the price. So 200k, a lot more manageable, and there are a lot of good heroes again that you can get in there. So yeah, I mean, look, it's nice to have both options out there, and again with things like duplicate storage and the amount of objective players and things that we've been getting, you've certainly had the chance to build enough fodder to do one of these. But I've got that suspicion, John, that a really nice big player is going to be on the way, because EA likes to do this. They like to get you to empty a club's worth of fodder before launching something good, because we've not had a single icon SBC out yet.
No, so that was my guess.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. They're not releasing 2 icon SBCs in 3 weeks. They're not releasing 2 times Total Hero SBC in 2 weeks, and not get something everyone wants to do quickly enough.
Exactly. And look, so they're there. If you do want something a bit more guaranteed, there have been 2 low-cost strikers released as well over the past few days. So you've got Seru Girassi, who's got a moments card for a lobbed goal, for a chip shot even, against Darmstadt, and his overall performance in the Bundesliga last year, it says. He's got an 87 rated card that will cost you 75k to do. Again, John, this is a really nice card. I mean, he's got Chip Shot Plus, but I think chips in this game are absolutely garbage and have been garbage for the last 2 versions of FC. You can score them, but they're nowhere near as potent and reliable as they were in FIFA's past, in my own experience, as someone that does tend to go to the chip shot far too often anyway.
Yeah, like Not bad. It's pretty cool. I do like the design. I thought it was an evolution card if I saw it the first time, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. Which made me like, oh wait, that's actually an SBC. Meanwhile, I'm putting it on screen, of course. It's a fun card, but like I think every Bundesliga good striker currently has chip shot plus for some reason. So could also be a Bundesliga thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, look, 4-star, 4-star. The pace, not brilliant. The pace split isn't great with 80 acceleration, 87 sprint speed, but the finishing is pretty much where you want it to be. 91 composure is really nice as well. Got decent heading. The reactions 89 are where you like them to be. Even the aggression, which maybe you'd say slightly low at 76, is still more than workable. I mean, you are going to have linking issues because of the Guinea nationality if you're not running a Bundesliga side. But I just like having all these options, John. I can't. In years past, we might have seen this card come out and it cost you 250,000 coins.
Yeah.
And for this, it's just like one of those. Okay, the same we just talked about with Sissoko and some of the other guys. The highest rated squad on this is an 84. So if you are at the end of your, SBC dupe storage, why not submit and get this card, even if it just ends up being fodder later on? And exactly the same for the other striker that's been released, who I think is the better option. I think if you were going to do one of the two, John, I would definitely be doing Mr. Jonathan David.
Yeah, but I want to say one more thing about Gassi.
Yes.
He is 187 centimeters, 6'2". He's got 90 jumping with almost 90 heading accuracy as well. Don't forget that secret weapon he has. Even as a super sub, it gives you something else.
I mean, you don't need to tell me twice about lumping balls into the box to find the big man. I am a fan of lower league English football, so that is kind of written into my DNA.
I never crossed, but I had this part of this job is looking at multiple point of views. So,
I'm glad you make that sacrifice for us. You're prepared. You're here to consider us less cultured. FIFA NFC players, so I appreciate that. But Jonathan David, again, the much better. He's always been a decent card in this game. 86 rated. He's got a 5-star weak foot, which is always great at this stage of the game. Only 3-star skills, a slight, and he's not. If you compare his finishing and his shooting stats to Jurassic, there is a little bit of a drop off on that, but not to the extent that he's unusable. The only real things that let this card down is the aggression at 60. Other than that, John, just a really nice card. Again, maybe Canada is not going to be the easiest card to link, but there's plenty of League and McDonald's cards that you can get.
Yeah, but this card is one of the first false 9++ cards.
Yes.
And if you play him as a false 9, so a striker that drops back to get the ball and build up from there, then with his sprint speed, with his ball control, with his first touch, actually could be really good, especially when he has the first touch on the ball control as well.
Yeah. Again,
that's what makes this card interesting for me.
Yeah, it's a card that I've always liked. Again, the low overall rating should help him get into an evolution somewhere down the line. Although
I don't want to waste this card design, mate. Oh,
yeah. Still, I don't know. I don't mind the evolution card design. I mean, look, hopefully they give us more cosmetic evos. I mean, they've released that whole thing and they really hyped up cosmetic evos before the start of this game. So we'll have to see. I mean, we get this new season, don't we, on Thursday? So my suspicion is we might see a few more cosmetics come out then. But yeah, again, just a well-priced card, exactly the level it should be. It's not a must-do, but it's not a must-do, but it's an option for you.
Oh, wonderful. I definitely agree. Cool card, nevertheless. Talk about new season, Daniel.
Yes.
I've got to admit something. Something has never happened before in FUT in my life. I saw a level 39 item, and I was like, I need that purple card on one of my players. And, I don't care about the menus. I never, ever, ever in my life hit the maximum level in the season because I just play rifles, right? If I happen to get some XP done, or SP as they called it here, perfectly fine. I am 400 SP short of hitting level 39. So I might actually hit level 40 this week.
Do you know, John, what I'm going to say to you, and I will say to everybody
You're
else, and
proud, right? Yeah.
I am very proud of you. But also, I think there is a very easy way to get that last XP, because they give you SP now for other modes in the game. And I was initially a bit like, oh, I'm not going to go into another mode to get SP. That'll be honestly, just look up the guide for getting SP quickly. I think you literally just create a manager career. I think you press about 3 buttons and it gives you about 1200 SP. So I'd very much recommend it, and especially considering EA are trying to flog this pack with 1,000 SP in the store. If you attempted to do that, please don't. If you haven't done them already, I said you get SP for things like manager mode, which is the other name for career mode. And again, it will literally take you, I promise, no more than 2 minutes
Then
to do.
I will hit level 40 tonight.
And you'll hit level 40 tonight straight away, no stress. So yeah, if you are after those last few points, you can do so. A couple of other ways to reach it as well. They have just released re-release. I'm not sure it's technically a re-release. The One Nation Cup is back in objectives. We've had this before. One Nation Glory. It's back again, and there's some nice packs available. An 83x5 for the overall. There's an 84x2 in there, an 83x2, an 82x3. Most people were just playing golden goal in this last time. And there's 1,000 XP for scoring 12 goals in this game mode. There's also 1,000 SP for winning 10 matches as well. So again, if you have gotten through your rivals games, you're looking for something to do, this is out there. I did think, EA promised that friendlies were going to be less sweaty. When I did this cup mode last time, it was a lot less sweaty for me. So if you have been a little bit burnt out with the hyper competitive modes, maybe this is one for you. The other thing, and I've buried the lead here, John. I realised we're already in danger of this becoming not a short show, but a full show. Evolutions are back. And I am so happy about this. It is
and
really...
they communicated about
it.
The fact it was broken.
Yep. They communicated there was a problem with certain evolutions that they had released, and basically admitted that for some there were no fixes to it. So they had to wait. I think it was the cannon was the last one they had to wait to expire. And rather than just drip feed evolutions out, credit to EA, they released a load at once that they had been holding back. So I think we've had 5 released since the gate came open on Saturday, sorry. And it's done 2 things. A, it's reinvigorated my love of the game. We're not going to go through them all because there are 5 different ones to go through. But it's also helped crash the market in a rather big way. You may have noticed if you just happened to have logged off and, you went away for the weekend or whatnot, and, you'd bought a couple of gold cards or whatnot, or even promo cards or icons, I've got bad news for you today, because the chances are you've seen a significant chunk of value wiped off your cards, because there are so many nice options available to put into one of these various evolutions that people are just ditching cards. I mean, the Brilliant Bombasta evolution, which was the latest one to come out yesterday, on Sunday, basically gives you a very usable left back, and there are loads of meta options that fit into it, the likes of Udogi, Mendy. So again, that just sent the prices of other left backs crashing. And again, because we've had the Icon SBC and the Hero SBC, that sent some of those other cards dropping as well as people rush to complete those. So yeah, tough time if you had a lot of coins in your team.
Yeah, I had that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my friend.
But I can now make my Haaland purple with level 39 thing to never think about the fact he costed money ever again.
Yeah. I mean, look, ultimately, this is what you earn your coins for, isn't it? And of course, with the way the reward structure is this year, they are giving you tradable rewards, whether you like it or not. So the chance of you getting your coin balance back up is a lot higher than it was maybe last year, yes, where you were just constantly taking untradeable things and were just hoping for a ridiculous pull out of nowhere. So don't worry too much if you've lost coins on players, because again, just consider as well that the player you want to go and buy, that has dropped in price as well. So it's not just one particular area of the market where you've, say you had 2 midfielders worth 300,000 coins each and they've dropped down. It's players everywhere that have dropped. So your buying power has gone up, especially if you were liquid. But yeah, go out and do the evolutions if you can. I know, John, you're not a big fan of Evos. for good reason. As you say, they usually get overtaken by cards, and you don't necessarily want to go through. But as you touched on with
No,
Nath,
I said I'm glad they are in the game, and I'm really clear. I'm really happy they came back. They made a statement. I said it last week as well. They have to make something about this. We did a separate show last week fully about the fact they were broken. So I'm glad they're back. Most of the time, it's not for me for exactly the same reason you said. I do an evolution, then I pack a player that's better than the evolution I just spent a lot of time on. And time is my most valuable resource. So
yeah,
not sure I want to. But yeah, honestly, a 90 paced Udogi with some decent stats does look good.
exactly. And again, they've priced Evos really well. That Bombastor, I think, is only 75k to do. The only annoying thing with that evolution, and again, maybe something to be a little bit careful of if you are actually a fan of a lower league club like myself, is there are lots of like silver and bronze cards that I might put into that Bombastor evolution, for example. But, you know, the left back I would put in from Reading has about 40 free kick accuracy, and it gives the set piece playstyle plus. Is that really the playstyle plus you want on your fullback? And of course, there are lots of centre backs as well that fit into this evolution. People like Nathan Ake, for example, lots of people are going out and doing. Again, is that considering they don't tend to allow 2 playstyle pluses until we get to Team of the Year last year. So if you were to put a card into an Evo now, the chance of you being able to put a different and get a different playstyle plus on it, you're probably not going to be able to for a long while. So just have a think about if that is the, you know, play you want. I mean, that is why I think cards like Udogi are probably the best to go and put in this evolution, because they will just keep up with the meta enough for you to use them for a couple of months, rather than it burning it on a, you know, turning a 64 red card into a 74 red card, if that makes any sense.
No, I totally agree there. Although a certain left back from Brazil used to take some good free kicks, so maybe it could be a good fit.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, everyone wants to create their own Roberto Carlos. Unfortunately, Gerald Dorset of Reading is never going to be Roberto Carlos. I'm sorry. I love you dearly, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, I mean, loads of options that I've managed to turn. Again, I've got a couple of Reading players that I could now seriously actually put into my team, which is very exciting for me. It just gives me a reason to play those extra games, to try things out. You know, we're running rapidly out of time, but it's been a very stressful weekend for me, for a lot of players on this game. I've seen a lot of people saying, this is it for me. I'm done. I'm fed up with X, Y, and Z. I sent you a couple of clips of outrageous RNG that had me teetering on the edge.
Can't remember.
Exactly. And look, we cannot, I think it's hard to deny that there are issues with this game. However, as you have said on many occasions, try and control the controllables, try and take away the aspect of the game to tilt you with the randomness. Even in my own example, yeah, I had 2 moments. I had a real ridiculous penalty decision go against me, and had one moment where my defender just refused to touch the ball, even when it was going into his path. But in the build up to both of those, I had 2 or 3 opportunities to not even get into that position. So yeah, I could focus on the nonsense. But actually, if I focused on, okay, well, how did I get into that position? I'd probably save myself a lot of stress. So always try and look at the things that you can do. I said control the controllables. You're always going to get ridiculous moments, but they happen in real football, don't they, John?
Yeah, and I do get it's frustrating, right? And of course I find it frustrating as well. But I definitely think that if you look at bad things that happen to you, and you think, what could I have done different in this moment not to get in those situations? It's usually not a bad spot to be in. And I've actually experienced it a lot this weekend when sim racing, where I kept being wiped out by people running into me, right? And then I was speaking to some guys, and they said, you got 2 options. One is to watch your mirror a little bit better and just try to avoid these guys. Second option is to just qualify better, stay in front of them, stay away from them. Well, like, yeah, that's true. But still, it wasn't fun, and still their mistake. Yeah, sure, it definitely is. But hey, these 2 things you can control, right? Like,
Yeah.
fair point.
Exactly. So look, I think to sort of as we wrap up, I think, again, try and take that positive mindset where you can. And if it is getting overwhelming and you're feeling burnt out, just walk away, just back off for a few and go play something else. And you always come back fresh. Again, I got into a position where I was stressed and fed up. I think I was 2-6 and 3-7, I think, at one stage in weekend league.
I didn't notice that at all.
And yeah. Thankfully, I have a really handy foot coach that I can message to help me calm down. But yeah, I did calm down. I came back, made a couple of tweaks to my team, and pulled it all the way back to 7-7 at one stage. Lost my final game and finished 7-8. But that was one win less than what I've got all throughout the rest of this game cycle. So look, it happens, and there are lots of people posting. And as you talked about with on the Art of Foot show, which is exclusively available for patrons at patreon.com/futinreview, try not to compare yourself to everybody else. Just compare yourself game by game to how you're doing. Are you making the same mistakes? Are you improving? Because don't worry about rewards, because go and look at anybody opening 15-0 rewards, and you'll see that even if you won every game in weekend league, the chance of you actually getting something to improve your team are just negligible. So just play to have fun as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe these evos are actually pretty good distraction from when you play rival and doesn't go your way, right?
Exactly, 100%, my friend.
What does come your way is another show tomorrow, a big show, number 634. Although if I actually counted all the things we did in between, we are far over 1,000 episodes already then.
I know, it's we're giving you loads of content, which is, again, go to the Patreon. Give us a couple of bucks a week, Think of the amount of time we've kept you company on the train or in a car, or when you're doing the chores at home. Give something back.
Definitely. And come say hi in Edinburgh next weekend. Not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Yeah, I would very much love to be there. Unfortunately, cannot make it. I'm waiting for the Reading meetup or the London meetup. But one day I will show my face at one of these meetups.
Well, if we have more Patreon supporters, I'll be able to afford the London meetup one day.
Yeah, we'll be able to fly me up there. So there you go.
Exactly.
Extra.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
You're welcome, my friend.
Thank you, everyone, to tuning in, of course, because it's honestly humbling, the amount of people that sometimes tune into us. Thank you so much. Keep sending those Spotify messages. And something really cool came on with our Spotify agreement is that if you keep it nice and friendly, you put a message on one of our shows, and Spotify automatically will approve it to show underneath our episode that you left a comment. If it's not a nice thing you said, you might get banned by Spotify while doing this, even though you paid your account. But if you keep it friendly, they will now automatically show it without our approval. So,
yeah, or at least be creative if you're going to slag us off, so that it doesn't get picked up by Spotify.
True. I'd rather be it on Spotify than on my DMs. Thank you so much, Dan. Leaves us with one thing left for us to do, and that is to drop it.
Drop it.
And we're off.